Perfect. All right, we're live.
Perfect. So, mastermind for new construction. So as with any masterminds, we try to keep them really informal, keep them so that they are more of a question and answer, experience, issues, wins, losses, that kind of thing with them. So if if we'd like, anybody wants to start, does anybody have any specific questions or concerns with new construction?
I'm doing a deal. I'm I'm in the middle of a deal now where I've asked for schedules, and the other agent said no, there aren't any. So we wrote the offer, and I wanted to include the HST rebate, and in this case, the rebate's going back to the buyer. So instead of normally it goes back to the seller. So I've now got an accepted offer on new construction with no house plans. The house is partially, it's in the process of being built. And an HST rebate that looks like it's going to have to be clauses taken out to reflect that it's going back to the buyer, which I find so odd. So I've put it out there to the lawyer, and we're waiting to hear back. But are most new construction, I've never come across this with new construction where there's no schedules, there's no house plans, there's no specs, there's it's just the well and septic and the 4-page turnkey.
Wow.
It's odd.
It's odd.
That's very odd, because typically the builder will have, you have $10,000 for cabinets, or you have,
nothing.
And there's nothing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'd say you're right with talking to the lawyer on that one, because it seems like way too open of a book.
Yes, because I've got a lot of, I've been doing this for a long time, done a lot of new construction, and this is the first one where I literally am I do not feel comfortable about this. There's something not right. And the other agent is an experienced agent, but he's just not forthcoming with a lot of information. So I've had to call in the lawyer.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds like it's a good call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have seen it. It's not about experience. It's about relation. If they have good relation with the builder, they are listing their properties. So I did one deal. It was a small builder. There was nothing. They didn't have any specification, nothing. And I asked the agent, can you send me the schedules? She said they don't have. I said, okay, then prepare it, because I need the details. So I literally pushed them for, I would say 2 weeks to 3 weeks to get the schedule at first place, to get all the budgeting, for the cabinets and everything in writing. And thankfully we did that, because when we were about to close, there were so many discrepancies and the differences, what we agreed initially. And later at that stage, a lawyer was supposed to be involved, and there were so many things. And agent was well experienced. It's a name in the market, and I was surprised that how they are handling that deal from the other end. So that was surprising for me as well.
Wow. So, and are both Nicole and Jitendra, are they both reputable builders?
Well,
small as mine. Mine is just a smaller builder. Yeah.
And the builder I was dealing with, he's very, very small builder, 3 house in here. That's it. 2-3 house.
Okay. Which it really doesn't matter if you're a small or a large builder, a volume builder, right? They should have schedules, because it protects them too.
Yeah,
definitely.
As well.
Yeah, it's funny. It made I remember when I did my first one with Raymar, like when I got their schedule, and I think it's like 19 or 21 pages or something like that, I was just like, oh my God. But everything down to like the final like face plates on the
Yeah.
switches and
Yeah.
plugs is in there, which is awesome.
Yes. Yeah, it's all spelled out. When you deal with bigger builders, they're, thick offers, but everything is spelled out right there. If anything, you retract from it if you don't want something instead of having to continuously add. So
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so true.
Mhm.
Does anybody have any concerns? Are they working through anything right now in terms of new builds or specific questions that they would like to know about new builds?
I have one. I had an interesting one recently, and I'm going to new builder is very, but is selling in the city. So, and I was just wondering, what is the norm with regards to new construction and a well? The well was dug and everything was fine, but just wondering, is it normal that the builder has the water tested and approved and everything in place to warranty the water to begin with? Or do they just guarantee the well is dug and that it's adequate as far as quantity and all that sort of thing, and obviously done by a professional well digger, and then have the buyer do the other end of it as far as setting up with a water tech company that would come in and do a treatment situation? What's your experience?
My experience with because I've only done new construction on well and septic. They have, I mean, at the end of the day, if the builder's providing an occupancy permit, and to get the occupancy permit, and the lender, they're gonna need potable water. So I know, like with Raymar, for instance, it's right in their schedule how like they're gonna provide a well that's providing X amount of gallons per minute, and they got the different depths set out that, like, if the well has to be this deep, it has to provide this many gallons per minute, this deep, this many, this, etc. And they have to provide clean drinking water to give the occupancy permit. So like with the few that I've done, we get a report near closing, and all the systems are in place that shows the absence of arsenic and uranium and then the bacteria.
Right.
But it's
Okay.
all laid out right in their schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and typically they will have a certain amount allotted for the well, and then if they need to drill deeper, then sometimes that can be an additional charge for the buyer.
Yeah.
The well was already there. Like, and
Okay.
now that I think back, the occupancy permit was already there, but I'm looking at the records that I have from the builder, and I was with him from the beginning with this. There were no water companies that came in and tested the quality of the water. So that's interesting.
Sometimes
COVID summer, and a lot of things, I think, were approved without going through what the norm is.
sometimes the builders will just have somebody go and collect the water and drop it off at the lab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I don't know if that answers your question totally, Anne, or not.
Yeah. I suggest with all my people, I suggest that, because like most builders have a 1 year bumper to bumper quote unquote warranty, and then the 7 year Atlantic apart from that.
We have a 7 year. He's fine. That's their warranty.
So if they're guaranteeing the well, like for instance, like one of mine, like a year is coming up now soon. So we took the well at face value when we closed last summer, but we're gonna do a well and septic inspections this year at month 10, just before they expire, just to make sure the well is still performing to spec that the builder said that it would be. And that way, if it's not, we can still get the builder in to cover it under warranty.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, good point. Thank you.
That's what I recommend to my clients. In new construction, if you are not doing inspection, though I highly recommend to do it at the beginning as well, but I always recommend, okay, get another inspection done after 11 months or so, so that whatever is there, at least you can reach out to builder with that list and get it, rectified.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that should be at 10 months, then you're suggesting?
Well, but I'd suggest around month 10. That way, like for instance, the septic system's been working for better part of a year. And by the time you get your report, you can gather a plan and then take it forward to the builder, because they're not going to just jump and run on it. And that way there's 60 days basically to do as much work as you can before they can all of a sudden say, oh, nope, sorry, it's been a year. Warranty's up.
Okay.
Well, even if you raise the point, just before one day completing the 12 month, it should be good.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mhm.
that should be good.
Okay, good. That's good to know. Thank you.
No problem.
But it's funny, Janice, I had a note here where you mentioned being careful, because if they have to drill past their top, you might get an extra thing. That's like my biggest thing I tell people with new construction is, do not enter into a contract of a build at your top end. Like if you're pre-approved for 350, don't sign a new construction deal for 348, because
Right.
something's going to happen, and you may get financing at the start, but by the end of it, when there's an extra cost for excavation, or you decide you're going with this laminate instead of that, and said you can quickly get yourself in big trouble.
Yeah, so true. Or you look at what the building costs have done this past year.
Yeah.
Right. That may have been what was quoted to you 6 months ago, but by the time the construction is done and completed, that's not what the costs are.
But if you entered the agreement, like we entered the agreement, we started a build last October. We're closing in 3 weeks. Lumber's gone insane since October. But I was talking to one of the our project manager the other day, and he said basically for these long ones that are closing right now, he said they're just losing profit margin, because he's like, we can't come back and say you owe us 20 more grand because lumber's more now.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there are.
Go ahead, Jitender, sorry.
What I was saying, that there are builders doing that. They are coming back and saying that you need to pay more money.
Yeah.
Luckily.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, and there is one deal I can talk about that we objected that we are not going to do that. There was no such clause in the agreement, so you have to deliver the house completed within that time frame. Of course, there is a delay, we can accept that, but with that price range. And they said we are not completing, either we are holding it. I said, okay, give us the timeline for how long you want to hold it. 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. There should be a timeline, which is mentioned in the agreement as well, that they have to give the estimate when they can close it, even if they are delaying it. So they are not agreeing, and now we are going to the litigation for that particular. So that will be another learning. Thankfully, buyer is very flexible. They said, okay, no problem. We will learn something new, but we'll go to that route.
Yeah.
There's some builders too that are putting in clauses that state that they will do their best to stay within a certain price point for lumber. Lumber's a moving target right now.
It is.
So
it is.
Yeah, so I'm finding some builders are actually putting in clauses to try to protect themselves, and
But there should be a specific date when they are ordering the material, because if they are accepting the deal now, so okay, give or take 1 month time, and whatever the price and whatever the difference we are ready to pay. First they have to give the estimate, then what is the difference, we can work on that. But if they did not do anything like that, then they can say anything later down the line.
Yeah.
We should have something at place already.
How much of a buffer would you like suggest for somebody, like if they wanted to do a new build, like what you're talking about before? Like how much do you think is like, you should leave within your budget?
I'd say at least 20K.
Oh, okay.
I did a deal last year, and me and the lender both expressively explained to the buyer, you are tapped. This is what you can, like, you are almost done. Like any upgrades are you're gonna have to pay for by yourself, like out of pocket, because they were so close. And they understood that, and they basically had to build per spec. Like they looked at the choices of floors. Well, you get to choose one of those because the upgraded ones are $5,000, and you either got to pull that out of your pocket or you don't get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where's it coming from?
Yeah.
Show us the money.
Yeah.
So 20K is kind of like your
I'd say roughly there, because you could also run into something that you don't, like you said, like a deeper well. Like nobody ever wants to drill a deeper well, but it might be what happens. Or you pick this dream lot and you're like, absolutely, this is the piece of land that we're building this house on. They realize it's sitting on, after they dig down 3-4 feet, it's friggin' bedrock. And they got to bring a breaker in for an excavator. The excavator's there at $150 an hour for 2, 3, 4, 5 days. That adds up quick, and it's the builder's not going to eat that.
Yeah.
What about septic? Like with septic and new builds?
Well, depending on how big the builder is, they should have done their due diligence before, like before advertising the facsimile on that lot, like by doing a perk pit and having it designed by a QP.
Yeah.
They usually already know what they're doing for a septic, especially if it's one of their own lots. Now, if you came with your personal lot and had them buy it, or you put it up as collateral for them to build on, then maybe not. But
they would know the average cost for a 3 or 4 bedroom house compared to a 2-bedroom. Like they would know.
Yeah.
So it's pretty standard for that one, whereas a well is a bit more different.
Yeah.
In terms of like when you see like a custom build on like the MLS, and it's like, like a Raymar home, and it's already on a lot and everything, and you basically just have to kind of purchase it and then they'll start building. If it's like a 3-bedroom and you wanted to add an extra one, like how much wiggle room do you have in terms of actually customizing it to be your own? Like, is there?
I can speak from experience with Raymar a lot. They will, within reason, they will completely change their interior sides of their houses around. If you want it to take a 3-bed, 2-bath split and make it a 5-bed, well, that's probably not space for that. They're going to suggest that you upgrade the style, like whether it's to like the next one, like the 4-bed, and you lose some rec room, or to a 5-bed. And obviously, with each of those comes a big price hike. And depending on the grade of the land too, they may not offer that build on it.
Okay, yeah, that was my other question. Like in terms of like how they choose the land to build which of their homes on.
Sometimes it's just trying to hit a certain price point too, Rachel. If they know that within a certain area where they're building, if there's a specific price point that's selling really well, then that will be a very popular facsimile drawing that they'll put up.
Yeah.
But with any of the builders, if it's a facsimile and the foundation's not in the land, then you can typically talk to them and have a discussion about changing and putting whatever will fit and would be approved for that lot on that land. But like Alex said, it changes the price. So they have to, price is, like Nicole said, it's very elusive. It's a moving target.
There are so many different factors, land and different builders as well. Some builders are very welcoming. Okay, we are ready to change that for certain amount of price, and some are okay, no, we are building this, a little bit changes. Sometimes they call custom build, just if they are giving you selection of choosing flooring and all that, they call it custom build, though it is not.
Custom,
it's not custom. It's dictated, but you get to put
but
your
they
own
call it
lipstick
custom
on
build.
it.
They
Yeah.
call it custom build.
I know, which is so funny. I just get such a kick out of that.
Yeah. But like, for instance, I know Raymar, Marchand, like the big ones that have the amount of money they can just do whatever they want. Like we're building an Iris with Raymar right now, and we completely flipped the bedroom or the basement around per spec, like completely changed it. And they had no problem with it. I'm sure there's a little bit of a cost incurrence, obviously. But yeah, there are other builders around the city that if you go to mess with their blueprint, absolutely not.
Yeah, they'll sometimes charge
Talk-
like 500.
Talk to Provident. Try Provident for
Yeah,
that.
or Bowers. I've heard Bowers is real tough to deal with.
Yeah. I've worked with them before, and yeah. Good builder, but if you want to change anything for their custom build, it's like good
No.
luck.
Yeah.
They market
you
their
come in with your-
designs. They highlight the Bowers. They highlight their designs in a different way. So they don't want to play around with that designs actually.
Mhm.
Yeah. Biggest thing, especially for me, I've found is if you're bouncing back and forth with a builder's agent, or your buyer is bouncing back and forth with the builder's agent, also like save every email or screenshot texts. Because like I'm dealing with one right now. We got a quote for doubling the size of our deck for $3,000 last week. They said $3,000 extra plus HST, and we'll double the size of the deck. And now all of a sudden it's 38 plus. It's like all of a sudden it's 38 in a week. I'm like, well, lumber is moving like crazy, but 38 in a week, like, and I was like, told that person, I was like, flip her back that email, because $800 is $800.
That's a lot of money to a buyer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to your point of making sure that they have a buffer, like some of the spec homes are electric heat. That's it,
Mhm.
right? So what happens if your buyer wants to put in heat pumps? Well, that's an upcharge. So that again increases the price. So all of these things that some of the builders on the facsimiles to be built, they're stripped down to pretty basic, depending on the price point, of course. But yeah, just to be aware, Rachel, that it's, there are things that some buyers are really going to be looking specifically for, like a heat pump or a certain type of flooring or certain door profile, even certain hardware.
Widen up the driveway. There are so many little things.
Yeah. But
Mhm.
one of the biggest things that blew me away with my very first new construction is that the prices you see 9 times out of 10 don't include a finished basement.
Yeah.
Even on a split entry, you can see it from the flipping main door. You'd be staring at studs.
Yeah.
So then you all of a sudden, that $329,000 4-bed split looks like a steal, and then you find out, oh no, it's actually going to end up being $350 because we want the basement finished. Yeah.
And landscaping too, they'll only do sometimes like 20 feet around the foundation, and the model looks fabulous, and that's the model that your client's buying, let's say.
Yeah.
And when you start reading the fine print, they'll only do sometimes seed and do about 20 feet around the foundation, and that's it. So
Yeah.
another thing
Or
too,
none.
you have to be really conscious.
Alex, one question.
Yeah.
One request I would say. Wherever these homes are right now, 329,000, send me the list.
Yeah. I guess I'm thinking I did a Raymar 4-bed split last year, finished basement, granite, heat pump, all in 330. And in a year, it's gone. I'm doing this almost the same thing right now. It's now.
Was it in Whiteslake?
Yeah.
Yeah, I also did one there.
Yeah,
with
and
Raymar.
now I'm doing another one on Powers Road in Whites Lake. Same exact thing, but it's $100,000 more. It's 425.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, crazy.
How much, Alex? How much of that is literally increase of construction costs in comparison to just what the market's dictating?
I don't know how much it would be. I know when I talked to Chris Marchand from Raymar, he said, because I said, holy moly, like $100,000 in 9 months for the same house.
Right.
And he just said a lot of it is cost of material. Part of it is
The market.
the market, the heat, and part of it is labor. He said there's they have some contractors who have sliced half their staff because of COVID, whether it was on their
Right.
own choice or not. So he said even like that's what's making their builds go longer. They're waiting on material longer, but the drywall team may have used to be 4 or 5 guys, now it's 2.
Yeah. What I had heard is that a number as supportive and as good as the government subsidies have been for COVID, there's a number of craftsmen in carpentry and that sort of thing that just are staying home now because they're
Right.
earning more money at home doing that. And frequently their partners are out, like there's only one person leaving the home because of school shutdowns and all that. So it's
Yeah.
quite a mess.
Yeah. When I did, when I did my first new construction, they told me they asked for a 6-month closing. Like they put it together in 6 months. The last one I did, they asked for a year. We end up settling on 10.5 months.
Wow.
Yeah. And of course there's the clause in there that if it could and probably will go over the closing date and it's not their fault, but if it's your fault, it's $100 a day.
Which I don't know anybody who's ever done that.
Who has screwed their closing on their own fault?
Yeah, I don't know. No, who has ended up having to pay $100 per day.
Yeah, I haven't had it happen to me. I've heard it happen. I heard a story just in the office. The buyer's father was a plumber and wanted to do the plumbing for the home. Certain builders will allow you to, but you have X amount of time to do it. And if closing is pushed because you, instead of taking 2 weeks, took 4, well, that's on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's happened to Todd where he has had buyers and clients take weeks to choose something. They have been so indecisive and trying to choose, and so which then pushes everything back. So then they're delayed. He chooses not to have that clause in his contracts, but it's certainly funny, like, oh, here's the closing days today. Are we closing? No, we're not closing. It's probably going to be a month down the road.
Yeah.
Because everything has to be ordered.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Flooring and so on. I did one deal years ago. I remember it was with Polycorp. And it was the very first time and only time I ever saw a nuisance clause in the contract. So
Oh.
it basically meant that if the purchaser goes to the house on a regular basis or to the condo on a regular basis and interferes with the crew doing the work, then the builder is quite prepared to kill the deal and just because they know they'll turn around and sell it as a spec home or and I really, my clients thought they were like, that's awful. And I'm thinking, think about it. You're delaying your own construction. So when you put it in layman's terms, they're like, okay, I get it. But it was the only time I've ever come across that. So obviously they've had experience and had to put something in their contracts. So until the house, I think, has the stairwell, and if I'm not mistaken, is roof tight and windows are in, can somebody actually go on the property and actually see how the construction's going by appointment? Right. So, I mostly tell people to just let them do their thing until you get a call that you can come and see it. So
yeah, it can be quite dangerous.
Yeah.
I had that with condos, with new construction condos that we had to have a special, and we had to wear steel-toed boots.
And hard hats. Yeah.
So. Definitely with condos. We're allowed, I know with the 2 Raymer builds I have happening right now, we've been basically told, myself and the purchasers, like not uncles and aunts and friend who wants to see it, can go in during regular non-working hours. They just appreciate like a quick text to the project manager, just say, hey, popping into 123 whatever street for 20 minutes kind of thing. But yeah, don't go there at 9 o'clock in the morning because you want to measure for a rug while the guy's there trying to sling drywall mud.
So, for a newbie like me, say I had a client that was interested in a new build, like, you know, custom home, whatever, on MLS. Would you make the offer like a normal, like turnkey offer, like a normal offer, or do you go through all of the things you want first and then talk to the agent and then make an offer? Like, how does it work in comparison to resale?
I usually try to figure out, like Janice said earlier, is the foundation started? Is the house started? If it's not, I start talking to the listing agent saying, "Hey, we're really interested in lot 1. We really want to put a X on it, with finished basement, heat pumps, blah blah blah. What's that gonna cost?" And usually they get back with a number. Well, they should get back with a number. And then then just go from there, and that's where I'll write my offer from.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
It also-
kind of similar to like a resale. Like, you know, you kind of talk about it with them, what they want, then bring that back to, well, obviously you wouldn't in a resale, but bring that back to the agent in charge of that and kind of discuss with them, see what the price will end up being or would be, and then kind of make an offer from there.
Well,
Yeah.
and they should give you their schedules too, like what's
Yeah.
included and what are the specs that the builder's building off of. What do they include? What do they not include? Because that can be just as important for your buyer on what's not included.
And so offering on something like that, you definitely, I mean, you have to give what they're asking, right? Like there's not really any wiggle room in terms of like over ask or under ask. Like, how does that?
Not
Obviously,
anymore.
you have to pay for.
It is negotiable if you're ready to pay more right now with the current market situation before any other agent jumps in for the same lot.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
So you need to rush first of all in this situation. And regarding that selection, I would say go through with the schedule, all the schedules, and you can ask the builder if they have specific upgraded list. Okay, if you want to add this much is the price. That can be done as well. You can talk to your client what they prefer.
Okay.
And if you have all the answer, write just one clean offer that everyone will appreciate. So no back and forth on that offer.
Okay. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to be prepared.
Lots of the talking happens before,
Yeah.
right? Before you write the offer.
Yeah,
So
like
then,
kind of different from resale where you don't just go in like here. You kind of decide a lot of things before.
It's been on the market 3 weeks. Let's offer 50 under.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, you wouldn't do that. Yeah. You wouldn't do that.
yeah, you want upgraded appliances, upgraded flooring, upgraded trim package, please.
Right.
But Alex, in this market, you hear back from the other agent. Okay, my client is not ready to accept any dollar lesser than what is listed price. That is why it is in the market for that long.
Yeah.
3 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
And some
That's
builders
another-
too will say, they'll throw in an upgrade. So instead of an acrylic tub and shower surround, sometimes they'll do a walk-in with glass doors, and there's no extras, extra charge for that. Sometimes I think if you kind of are nice and they like you, then they'll do that. But if you're difficult right out of the gates, then they're like, no.
I told my most recent buyers, we're just at foundation stage now. I said, like, don't be pestery. Like we put it together, we have it all on paper what we want, like, but don't be like for instance, I know they reached out last week and decided they wanted to get a price on vaulting the ceilings. I'm like, rafters are ordered, like everything's ordered. And like they got back and they said no way. I'm like, well, yeah, like I said, like, pick your battles.
Put down the architecture magazines.
Yeah.
Just let them do it.
Yeah.
Oh, too funny.
But that's one thing I was going to mention. I was really praised up and down by buyers the other day. We were going over our new build. Is like the time is now to do the creature comforts. We were walking around and like you got like from an agent standpoint, think of like everything you can that would be nice. Like we were walking around and I suggested putting, as simple as it is, put a plug in your eave outside to a switch by your front door that does nothing but turn on the Christmas lights every December. And like they were like over the moon, like, oh my God, that's amazing. Like instead of having a time or whatever, just you're in construction stage. It's going to cost pennies on the dollar extra to do it now. Or like putting like the HDMI chases in the walls for like wall mounted TVs and stuff like that. Like, definitely do it now. Like do it at construction stage and not after.
Well, you're good. You're good. I've never heard of that Christmas tree light thing. That's a keeper. Very good, Alex.
Sorry, I missed that, Alex. Could you please repeat it?
Like we were going around with our electrician, and like obviously like you get this many plugs here, this many plugs there, whatever. I said spend the extra money, put a plug in your eave, like up on the corner by one gutter, like an outdoor plug, and have it just switched down by your front door or up by your kitchen or wherever. It might do it 11 months of the year, it does nothing, but that 1 month of December, you can turn your Christmas lights on and off from inside the house. Like
that's a good point.
Yeah. Same as another bit.
There's more and more people even that use white lights in the summer on trees.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have ours on our front lawn. we don't take them down, like they're just wrapped all year round.
Another big one is think about where your, like I tell them, like especially in the rec rooms and living rooms, like where is your TV going to be? Like if are you a TV person? Like you're definitely going to have your big football game up on the wall. Like put the chase in now so you can, like you can be wireless. Like everything can be in the wall down to your stand. Like I said, to do that after construction is going to be a pain. To do it during, it's nothing.
Yeah.
And never skimp on plugs. You're always looking for a plug.
Yeah. Even up on put an extra plug up on top of your cupboards.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's another one that a lot of people really appreciate.
Yeah. A big one I'm finding I'm doing with any new construction I do is I know sometimes it's an extra cost. I know with Raymar, they'll just do it. Have an individual, each bathroom has an individual fan that's ducted to the outside and switched, because so many of them just use the HRV and that does not keep up to a steaming hot shower.
Yeah.
I think we are more or less done.
That was helpful in awkward silence.
I know that was. Anybody have any comments?
Oh,
All right. Well, that was a great session. Lots of great tips there. Hopefully it answered some questions for people. And
one thing I did with my very first one, like Rachel, or to anybody who's going to watch this on YouTube who's never done one, I wrote my first new construction offer because I wasn't on a time crunch. I knew it was coming and I knew it was happening. We weren't competing. I just booked an hour once upon a time and went in and sat with Ann De Silva and we wrote it together. I had like my list of rules, what to strike, what to remove from our APS, etc. And like she just helped me set it all up that way when I met with the clients. And then they were younger, and of course one of them had the big scary dad that new construction, blah blah blah. Like you just look way better. You're not fumbly.
Yeah.
There is another thing that I would like to add here. Probably it can help Rachel and other new agents. If you're writing an offer for the new construction, usually they have one particular date or time frame to select the finishes for say 30 days after the acceptance. But it doesn't make sense selecting the finishes within 30 days, initial 30 days, because there is a lot of time if the foundation is still pending and all that stuff. So you probably want to change that date when you are writing that offer. You can talk to the builder when they, what is the timeline for that construction, and according to timeline, you can change the date at the time of writing an offer. Because if you're getting acceptance right now, the chances are more or less that you're going to miss that date after, within, if it is within 30 days. So better have the longer date for the selections of finishes.
Mhm. Yeah, I tell all my people, you're going to have to make your selections for your construction materials now. Your types of windows, your color of siding, your colors of doors, etc. But like, you don't need to pick your light fixtures right now. We haven't even put an excavator on site yet. They don't need to know that you're putting a chandelier there. And I know most builders are gonna like, they understand that, and they'll just have to have them, like they'll have them by like a certain point. Like, okay, we're at drywall stage now. Like we need to confirm fixtures, like tub fixtures and plumbing and lighting.
I think there is another thing as well. The builders who are dealing within the cities, who are constructing within the cities, they are not very flexible as compared to the builders who are dealing outside of the city. They are more flexible.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's my personal experience. I could be wrong, but that's what I have seen.
Yeah, you're going to get a lot more flex out in Prospect than you are in West Bedford.
West Bedford, they are not flexible at all.
No. Here's the house, buy it. If you don't, that guy will.
They are not. Even right now, especially, it's hard to deal with Cresco's agent. Hard to get hold of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because it's selling by itself. So they list for 925, they're selling for 976 or something. So that's all.
Yeah. Hard to imagine multiple offers for new construction too, isn't it?
Yeah. It's crazy.
Crazy.
That Long Lake Village, they received so many offers on that semis, and now this Spryfield area, they're getting multiple offers on the new constructions. Everyone, it's so crazy.
It's great.
It is great.
Great, guys. It's
You're
great.
It's great if you're a listing agent.
Yeah, it's great. But if you're representing buyers, then Saturday, Sunday, especially in this market, everybody is saying, okay, Sunday is the last day to write an offer, and Saturday, Sunday, whole day you are showing and writing an offer back to back. So weekend goes like this.
Yeah.
What's a weekend?
I know. We need to have more people. We need to have more offers being called for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then it levels out the playing field, because I think a lot of buyers are like, well, I don't know which house I like more. Which one do I have better chance to get is what they end up offering on sometimes.
That's why a lot of buyers are getting cold feet right now, because in momentum they are submitting offers, and then they realize, okay, no, this was not the house what I wanted. And thankfully, I just got accepted. Like, probably the chances are I will be getting accepted. My offer was backup offer. I just received a call that they are walking out of the deal, the other buyers. So my offer will jump in. Yeah,
nice.
It is.
That's awesome. I love backup offers.
This weekend I got 3 backup offers.
Nice.
Yeah, I got one of my listings too.
Nice.
It gives satisfaction that we are not throwing the money. At least we were on second number, and we have some chances of getting that deal, at place together.
Yeah.
Cool. Excellent. All right, guys. Well, I think we'll wrap it up. And it's a good conversation, and one that I think needs to continue with new construction. There's always things to learn with new construction. My goodness, it's a ever-changing market.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
especially when there are 4 to 5 projects are lined up to launch summer or fall this year within the city.
Yeah.
let's see what new is there. What's new?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we need something to absorb more of the buyers. That's for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
All
Well,
righty.
everyone have a wonderful rest of your day.
Hey, thanks, Janice.
Thank you.
Alex.
Right.
Thanks all.
You
Thanks.
guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.